This is Kanzenshuu, the podcast, episode 320 for the week of January 6th, 2013. Welcome to Kanzenshuu,
the podcast,
an extension of the all-encompassing Dragon Ball fan site.
Kanzenshuu.
We cover anything and everything Dragon Ball in hopes of enlightening.
And a little bit of entertaining.
There we go. Almost the entire gang joining us here. My name is Mike, VegettoEX. I bring folks together week in, week out to talk about Dragon Ball with me. Let's go in reverse order here. Meri joining us.
Hey there.
Hi.
Happy 2013.
Thank you. Happy 2013 to you.
And what a wild 2012 it's been.
It was crazy. That's what we're going to talk about this episode, is 2012. And also a look ahead to the future. So thank you for joining us here. All right. Also with us, co-founder dude of the Kanzenshuu, Mr. Heath, Mr. Hujio. Those are all the names we have for you.
That's it?
No, that's it.
I thought we had others.
Co-dude is my favorite.
I'm just glad to be alive. I'm glad the Mayans have allowed it. So
really,
yay!
You're making Mayan jokes after 2012.
Yep. Hey, when we were gonna launch the site,
I know
that's what we were shooting for.
I know.
That's
so
right.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay. Also joining us across a rather large pond, all the way from Japan. Thank you for joining us on this fine evening for you, Mr. Julian.
Yes, it's my pleasure to be here, and I do want to say that I do have the distinction of being the one who survived the 2012 apocalypse before all of you, so, ha.
That's true.
Are you laughing at us for surviving?
Well,
Why
just
not?
for being there first.
All right, so these are the fine folks joining us all here this week. We are talking about 2012 in review. It was an amazing freaking year for Dragon Ball. Probably one of the best maybe ever for the series. I mean, if you
so
rank years,
weird.
it's got to be up there, right?
I feel like every year we say, wow, what a big, huge year for Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah,
and-
but seriously, come on now.
Oh, I know.
2012. Damn good, damn good. So we're going to do the same thing that every other podcast on the planet does, where we review all the big news from the previous year, check in on the predictions we made last year. This one's pretty fun. And then we're going to make new predictions for this upcoming year. I guess because that's going to be the episode. There's a ton of stuff there. So we're not going to cover last week's news. There are only two things, and you'll hear about them in the recap. We're not going to do releases just yet, even though the post that I made on the website is just kind of a stealth reminder for myself. It's one of those things where we make pages and sections on the site for ourselves, not for you folks, not for the listeners, not for the readers. It's for us. Those upcoming products, that's for me. So I don't have to do any more work for the rest of January, February, March. And then we got your predictions. It's fun. It's super fun. So much stuff. And to start things off with a bang, we have Julian.
Well, okay. Well, the cat is out of the bag, so I should say that I'm a daddy again.
Yay.
Yay.
Woo!
I have a 2-week-old son. So there's the Japanese phrase, Ichihime ni taro. So you have a girl first and then a boy. And I just went with that, I guess.
Okay.
Because, I have the ability to control that.
What we're really doing right now is setting up a baseline of successors for Kanzenshuu right now.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the kids will be so thrilled to inherit a nerdy website.
It's kind of weird because, Meri, we would end up being last, despite us being the oldest in this generation. These youngins over here have the kids first.
Oh, I know.
And we got married first.
That's true.
You did.
Yeah.
Well, not Julian. Julian was last.
Oh, that's right.
No, all the others.
There's always Jake. He's going to catch up with everyone. All right, so that's the exciting news. You guys ready to jump into a full year recap and all that jazz?
Let's do it.
Doing it.
Okay.
We asked folks on Twitter and Facebook and said, hey, 2012 was a huge year. I want to make things as helpful and concise as possible. Does our regular format where we go through month by month and we don't editorialize on the news. We just kind of list it off, boom, 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 and go from there. But there was so much stuff this year. Is that still the most helpful format? Overwhelming responses. If you change it, I'm going to cut you. So we are sticking with that exact format. And as I was going through it and listening to last year's episode, I do think it is the best way to do things. So Julian, why don't you get us started here? Let's cruise through January and then onward from there. We'll do the recap. We'll do the predictions check-in, top stories, new predictions. It's great. take it away.
All right, so January 2012, starting things off. The February issue of Saikyo Jump comes out, and it announces that the March issue will come packed with a bonus DVD containing both Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans and episode of Bardock. Next, the original TV series will be heading to Nicaraguan TV as part of a multi-series deal, along with One Piece, Slam Dunk, and Saint Seiya. And then, new merchandise will be heading to Brazil, including backpacks, pencil cases, lunch bags, and more. Meanwhile, in the English-speaking world, Funimation suspends the remastered Level Blu-ray Dragon Ball Z sets after
6 months.
only 6 months. A new record. And they also, at the same time, discontinued the first 4 Kai releases, parts 1 through 4, each 2 discs. This, of course, being related to the Kenji Yamamoto music fiasco.
And the later season sets, but we'll get to all that
Yes,
as well.
that too.
Heath, take us going. February.
Alright Multimedia acquires Z Kai for Spain. It's a censored TV version, uncut for home video. Elsewhere, Funimation puts out a survey asking about any future Dragon Box interest, which many people enjoyed. And April V Jump announced to come with a full reprint of all 3 chapters of the episode of Bardock manga, and it ended up actually having 2 extra pages at the end, which Mike diligently caught right away.
Shut up.
Is that sarcasm I detect?
That's total sarcasm. Sat on the kitchen table for a week. I didn't even open it.
Oh, burn.
And then we found out that a Dragon Ball Z video game was coming to the Kinect on Xbox 360. The UK rating indicated it was a 20-minute special video included, which we later found out was something that we all knew about. Funimation also announced season sets for Kai, which was kind of weird because season 1 had already sort of come out at that point.
That was a weird one where it came out and then listings went away and then it resurfaced. We're like, oh, it's going to resurface because it's going to have the Kikuchi replacement score. And yet it came out again with the Yamamoto score still on it. And then the real season set announcement, which was this one. That was weird. March 2012. The final, I guess we'll get to this later, Kai set from Funimation is announced. That's part 8, taking us through episode 98. And then after a long struggle confirming information, Toei's website is the one that announces Manga UK has the rights to release DBZ on DVD in the UK, which would just be the orange bricks. And Manga, of course, later confirms it themselves. And we had a great interview here on the show about that with Manga UK. Dragon Ball Heroes was going to be moving into Dragon Ball GT territory with the new Galaxy Mission updates. And then a fun one, this is one of those trailing through the updates, was a fun time. Walmart's website starts listing a Dragon Ball Z HD video game for both the PS3 and the 360.
April 2012. Who can forget that lovely April 1st when Kanzenshuu launched?
Hooray!
Yay!
Very, very awesome.
We were all happy because we had almost no sleep and lots of coffee.
right.
killing
And we were
ourselves the end of
determined
March.
to hit that date
Oh.
because it's hilarious. All right. Namco Bandai lists sensitive Nintendo 3DS game on their website. And sadly, Takashi Aono, who played Murasaki and Piccolo Daimao and Kami, passed away at the age of 75. He suffered a stroke in June 2010, and he was replaced by Bin Shimada as Kami in Dragon Ball Kai.
Who was Broly, so it was kind of fun seeing that character go to
Yes.
that character.
All right, and in the advertising world, the Dragon Ball theme song Maka Fushigi Adventure was parodied in a commercial for Toyota's Sienta in Japan. And lastly, again, Namco Bandai news, they officially unveiled Dragon Ball Z for Connect at their Global Gamers Day in Las Vegas.
That was a hysterical day.
Was it?
Just the complete apathy from all the attendees and the entire rest of the internet
Really? How
Yeah.
do you know from the attendees?
because they were all tweeting about it.
Oh, okay.
And we had a good buddy of ours, La Resistance from France. I believe he was actually in Vegas that day, and he was giving us pictures and stuff as things were happening. So I appreciate our international
yeah.
friends and fans.
They're the best.
doing the news
Coming
for
to
us.
the United States to do our job.
I know. It's not that we went, it was that other. Well, you know, the European fan sites and press, they're crazy. The embargoes they break, it's awesome. All right, who are we up to? Are we up to Julian?
Yes.
Yes.
So
right.
May 2012, the Dutch Kanzenban release is cancelled after volume 13. Why do I get all these cancellations? Okay. New licenses and renewals for the various TV series in Colombia and Ecuador. So things coming down the pipeline in Central South America, that area. And Spanish retailer extralife.es lists a Budokai Tenkaichi HD collection that we will find more about later in the year. And then there was the Sparking Omega debacle, in which several major sites got taken in by a prankster on Ni Channel about a fake game and stuff. Anyway, moving on, Jump Superheroes Special Selection DVD series begins its release in Japan. It's a budget release of the first episodes of various shows, and the first volume comes with Dragon Ball Episode 1, among the first episode of several other series. And Zenkai Battle Royale has a new Super Saiyan Awakening update announced, with tons of new updates and new Super Saiyan forms for a bunch of characters.
That brings us to June 2012, where Anime Expo announced that Ryo Horikawa would be the guest of honor for 2012. Funimation also announced that Season 3 of Dragon Ball Kai would be released in September. Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta was announced for inclusion in Dragon Ball Heroes in a big sparking campaign spanning the game, V-Jump, and a bunch of other things. In France, a 9-disc Dragon Ball Kai DVD box was announced for later in the year. And back into Portugal, Dragon Ball Kai begins airing subtitled translations done from the Funimation English dub.
That was kind of funny.
Was that?
It was kind of funny.
Just seeing it airing in Portugal, in Japanese, with subtitles.
With dub titles?
Yeah, English dub titles translated into Portuguese.
Oh, dear.
Which I believe was fixed in later broadcasts. They switched over to doing proper translations. So, good on them. Are we up to me? Am I going?
Yes.
Yes.
We're up to you.
July 2012, a good month. The Budokai HD collection is officially announced during a live stream from the Japan Expo in France. Of course, being the Budokai proper, 1 and 3, not the Sparking series, as the Spanish site was kind of theorizing. Episode of Bardock is confirmed to be included with Dragon Ball Z for Connect and would be subtitled only, mirroring what happened with Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans. I'm Raging Blast 2. A new movie is announced for Japan. It was revealed via a countdown website with Jump. They began promoting it a week earlier with this countdown website, and then they had the letter D flashing, if I remember correctly. And then as the week went on, the shadowy Shenlong came in, and then stuff just got leaked, and it just kind of opened, and that was it. Going back to Portugal here, they got their manga re-release canceled due to poor sales and poor fan support. Kind of hysterical, despite Kai airing there. It's another one of those situations where Kai being on TV just doesn't help anything.
I think it's a jinx.
If it, in fact, makes things worse. Then we got the first details about the new upcoming movie with involvement by Tadayoshi Yamamuro, who we have talked extensively about here on the show. It would be directed by Masahiro Hosoda, with a script by Yusuke Watanabe, and heavy involvement from Akira Toriyama. And then we had... kind of a weird one. Dragon Ball Heroes music heading to Taiko Drum Master. The Heroes Galaxy Mission series theme song would be playable in the arcade game. And then we got the short teaser from the movie that was originally shown during the Psycho/V-Jump Festa. It hits Fuji TV, and if it's on TV, it of course hits the internet as well.
August 2012, kind of a light month in comparison. Jump Superheroes Special Selection DVD Volume 2 was released, and it includes DBZ Episode 1, and the official website for the new movie was updated with the teaser trailer and an English version of Toriyama's comments about the movie, which is pretty awesome.
We had already translated.
Oh,
of course.
yes.
So how close was the translation?
It was pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, actually, the official translation made it smoother and took out some of the ambiguities and stuff, but that's okay.
Right.
It was all right, but I like my translation better, and my translation's the one that spread to the corners of the internet. So there, official people.
Yeah! And lastly, for August, Dragon Ball Heroes Ultimate Mission was announced for the Nintendo 3DS for release in 2013.
All right, Mr. Holier Than Thou translations, keep us going.
September 2012, Ryo Horikawa also announced for Anime Weekend Atlanta 2012. So the man doing the rounds in the US, keeping busy. And meanwhile, Yamcha and Broly are announced for Zenkai Battle Royale. Now there's a fight I'd like to see. Next up, Janemba Baby is revealed as a new character for Dragon Ball Heroes. And Dragon Ball Z for Connect pre-order bonus is Goku Hair. Wow.
Yay.
Mike Avatar, go.
Yep. Done.
Upcoming new Dragon Ball Z movie is going to be receiving government funding courtesy of the nonprofit organization UniJapan's co-production certification program. And we'd be finding out a little bit more about some international partnerships later on. But meanwhile, the Dragon Ball Heroes mini manga debuts, called Victory Mission, in the November V-Jump. And a new Cell-esque villain is revealed for Dragon Ball Online. Perhaps some kind of descendant of Cell via Captain Bacterian's involvement?
That was a good one. We don't get enough Dragon Ball Online, do we?
I know.
No.
Well, it's tough because it's all in Korean, and we're just like,
I know.
what are we down to?
And that brings us to October of 2012. Dragon Ball Evolution gets a second reduced price DVD reprint in Japan. That came out in December. We also found out that a bonus Goku outfit for Naruto was to be included in the upcoming Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 video game. And Shueisha later in the month launched their new iOS Jump bookstore. More than 1,000 individual volumes were released at the time, including Dragon Ball. Then, let's see, that brings us to Dragon Ball Heroes Victory Mission again, which Chapter 2 was released in December V-Jump, which of course December V-Jump comes out in October, because that's fun. Zarbon was teased for Zenkai Battle Royale. A full announcement would come later on. And a special 2-year anniversary celebration event announced for Dragon Ball Heroes alongside the Galaxy Mission 5 update that would be coming. And finally, Bon Presto announces their third line of the Zoukei Tenkaichi figures.
Very nice. November was a huge month, these last 2 months of the year, and we'll talk more about these 2 months, I think, momentarily. So November. The regular Dragon Ball voice cast calls it a wrap on something. We got this first picture courtesy of Toshio Furukawa, of course, the voice of Piccolo. We'll talk about this again in just a second. Then we had a surprise visit from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Akira Toriyama, visiting Maximum the Hormone. Great doodles and printings and story sharing. Good times, good times. And then the big bombshell, Kai was announced to continue, but not in Japan. It's kind of unceremoniously announced via Mayumi Tanaka's blog, and we will revisit that one certainly in just a bit. Shueisha announces a bunch of Dragon Ball bonuses, mainly Dragon Ball Heroes cards for the January 2013 issues of both Saikyo Jump and V-Jump. Pilaf was apparently going to be in the new movie if these new line of figures were to be believed. And then there was the massive poster leak. This is where we learned the title, Battle of Gods. We saw our first glimpse of the new characters and new outfits for folks. The December issue of Ultra Jump, and later the movie's website, confirms that title, along with the special collaboration ticket with One Piece Film Z, but nothing about the characters. We had Glénat suspend their work on the TV anime comics in France in favor of the film anime comics, and they would be starting with DBZ Movie 1 in January. I believe that's the 23rd, so you folks get stuff coming pretty soon. Toei's website officially announces Dragon Ball Z Kai for the UK, saying it would be airing that month, but it actually didn't start until Boxing Day, if I remember correctly, and it ended up just being the Funimation dub, so that's crazy story stuff going on there. Zarbon and Videl were officially announced for Zenkai Battle Royale back in November. I believe that was in V-Jump. We got the first real details about Ultimate Mission on the 3DS. Number of cards, which missions it would run through. I think it goes through Galaxy Mission 4. All that kind of good stuff. Weekly Shonen Jump 2013 issue number 1. So starting off the new year of issues, formally unveils Birusu, the god of destruction, along with Uisu. And then we have Dragon Ball Heroes Victory Mission Chapter 3 appear in the January V-Jump. Expanded here. The first 2 chapters were only 2 pages. This one was 9 pages. So Meri, you take us, the final month that we just finished.
Right, with enough news to fill up the whole
entire
year.
Maybe a quarter,
much.
but yeah, there's a lot here.
All right, so Zenkai Battle Royale gets a month of weekly bonus costumes. Wow.
Weren't they awesome? There's like movie 9 references in
so
there and
cool.
stuff. So good.
And the basic plot for Battle of Gods was leaked on the movie's own official website via published, but not linked in the navigation or anywhere else page.
Good job, Kanzenshuu.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Detective work. Project Versus J, which is DBZ, One Piece, and a Toriko crossover game, was announced. Always a fan of those crossover games. Re-releases of figures under the Dragon Ball Capsule R line was announced for March 2013, and also a re-release of the desktop Real McCoy Son Goku figure was announced for March as well. Battle of Gods trailer announced on Fuji TV, and the Japanese band Flow announced to cover Chala Head Chala as the main theme for the new upcoming movie. Pretty cool. And more music stuff. The new DBZ Best Song Collection CD was announced for February 2013. There's no full track listing just yet, though. Going back to the movie, Battle of Gods trailer posted in its entirety by Sapporo Internet TV Station 11 channel in Japan, and Project vs. J is revealed as being a PS3 and Vita team battle game. And back in Japan, voice actors Yuji Mitsuya and Yuko Miniguchi posted a bunch of updates, kind of a few hints about things here and there.
We're working on stuff, not going to tell you what it is.
Yes. Very secretive. Over here in the US, Dragon Ball Z Kai Season 4 was announced by Funimation for a March 2013 release, and advance tickets for Battle of Gods is announced for sale at Jump Festa 13. And Battle of Gods Jump Festa 13 panel, they unveiled some more details about the movie.
It was just like who's going to be there, and then played trailer, that kind of stuff.
Toei releases a Battle of Gods promotional packet to the press, and a full-colored manga re-released was announced. Can you believe it? This is Japan. They would actually be starting with just the Saiyan and Frieza arcs, and it's actually going to be starting pretty soon, next month, February. Pretty crazy. Also, there's more. There's a new series of 4 guidebooks that were announced. They're going to be called the Kanzenshuu. The first volume would be called The Story and World Guide. And going back to Dragon Ball Heroes Victory Mission, Chapter 4 was released in the February issue of V-Jump. And lastly, the CD single for Flow's Chala Head Chala is announced for a March release date, and it's also going to include an insert song.
Yeah, just along with that announcement of the CD singles coming, I guess let's talk about it here, because we didn't get a chance to talk about it with no show last week. The song was going to debut. Julian, what radio station was that?
So Tokyo FM and its affiliates, which Tokyo FM is a radio station that plays in Tokyo and its environs, and FM Osaka plays a lot of the same shows in the Osaka area, so that's where I caught the radio show, getting in and out of the bath to try and hear the thing.
Right.
So, but good times. Well, I think I don't know. Overall, I like the new rendition of the song, but I think there are maybe certain aspects, such as the auto-tune angle, that some people may find a bit... well, it's going to sharply divide the fans, and I think, in fact, it already has among the people who've had it, because, of course, something like this isn't going to stay off the internet for long.
No, I mean, because we're all buddy-buddy, I think you sent it over to me within moments of being done.
Yes, but I don't think we and any of us actually posted it up anywhere.
No, we absolutely did not, because we are not a piracy outfit. Let's get some opinions here again, because we didn't get to talk about it. Meri, you and we were out and about, vacation, got this song in, we sat and looked at each other as we listened to it. Your thoughts?
I thought the song was a little bit too busy.
Too busy?
Too busy. I thought there was, I don't know how to phrase it other than I feel like the song didn't have room to breathe. There was just too many instruments, too many sound effects. I felt like it didn't have a whole lot of heart.
Okay. I thought it was super, super safe. It just kind of was.
Yeah.
Everything felt very synthesized. I mean, I think back to some of the other Flow songs I know, like Go, and I mean, they're real guitars and real drums, and that's what I was kind of hoping for. I wanted to really, really I was super excited about this song when I learned who it was, and I don't think it delivered. I don't know. Maybe it would have been better if I had heard it first in the movie itself. I don't know. Heath, what about you? What do you think?
I have to agree with Meri. It was just a little too busy for me, and I'm not a huge fan of the auto-tunes,
yeah.
So that kind of threw me a little bit. I was a lot like you, where I highly anticipated this because I like Flow, and I think a lot of people are very familiar with their material just from other anime series. And it kind of is what it is, and it's Chala, but it's not kind of thing.
Yep.
I mean, I still like the song, and I'm just not totally head over heels in love with it, I guess is a good way to put it.
I hear you.
I feel like I've heard better covers over the
right?
years than this.
How many times has Head Chala been covered?
I want to hear the animated version in the film.
Yeah, I'm down with that. All right, so that's enough about that. What we're going to do now is check in on our predictions that we made last year.
This is probably going to be a hilarious look back
Yes.
at what we thought.
I'm going to sit back and enjoy my coffee
I was going to say,
while this goes down.
Heath, you were not yet a part of the collective whole because we had not merged yet, but I did note that our buddy Jake Herms did toss a prediction our way, so we'll let you cover when we get down to that one.
I did. I don't think I sent anything in last year, but I know the year before that I sent in and said that, you know, with Kai becoming a flop, the series is going to kind of take a backseat and go into a little hiatus. And boy, was I wrong on that.
Well, I mean, it did for maybe like half of that year.
But I think I specifically noted like 5 to 10 years of nothing.
And Mike, I know that
very little.
with your predictions, one got blown out of the water within like a week.
Yeah, all right. We'll get to that. Don't worry about that. So what we like to do with predictions is have someone else check in on us so we can't fudge things here. Although I'm the only one who did the research and wrote all this, so I could have made myself sound a lot better. But I'm honest. I'm an honest man here. I will start with Julian, I suppose. Julian, here is the stuff that you said 1 year ago about this upcoming year. You started with Funimation would release the movies on Blu-ray packs. They were wrapping up a re-release of the movies on DVD via the double features. This did not happen. So strike number 1 here.
Well, this was before the Blu-ray release was canceled, and I don't know. It seemed like a sure thing at the time.
Yep.
Oh, well.
All right, you said, we're not going to see much in the way of new animation from Japan.
Well, you know, the movie doesn't come out till next year.
It doesn't exist yet. You're right.
I'm technically right. All we have is the trailer.
You said there's going to be more Dragon Ball SD, but it will not deviate significantly from the original. You had no high hopes for the magazine's longevity. Well, Psycho Jump's still going, and that is exactly what SD is.
Yes, so I still don't have high hopes, but apparently it's continuing on for now.
Did we actually get more Dragon Ball SD than last year?
Yeah, just no one cares
It's continuing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, because it didn't come up in our review, in our recap.
There was nothing to report about it.
Yeah, it's in every month Psycho Jump, and it just kind of is.
It's supposed to be like a funny version of Dragon Ball, but it's not as funny as the original.
Yeah, there were no announcements for it. It just kind of happened.
Okay.
So, Julian, you also said Viz might do something new with the manga or supplemental material, but if they don't do something in 2012 or 2013, their time is slipping for the print world. We might get to something like this pretty soon. We'll maybe talk about this or something else. But yeah, nothing really happened. Nothing at all.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate. And yeah, I still think their time for the print world is slipping. They're going to have to do something digital because I feel like books such as they are going to become increasingly a niche market.
Yep, that's over. All right, you had one last thing. You said we're not going to see any new Dragon Ball on TV for a few more years, and if they do, it will have to be something completely different. That's pretty accurate so far.
Okay, so Meri, let's go through your predictions for this year.
I'm scared.
First prediction, Jump Super Anime Tour will be announced in 2012.
Every year I say that, and every year it doesn't happen.
Nothing.
We're getting, 5 years away from the original date at this point?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, something was announced, but 2013 is the 45th anniversary of Jump, and 2008 was the 40th anniversary. So maybe the film is, never mind. Obviously, the film would be the 45th anniversary. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, so we're not gonna have a Jump Super Anime Tour probably next year either. But yeah, at least something was announced. It's not entirely bad.
Yeah, but you were specifically saying a North American release.
Yes.
And nothing.
Maybe this will be the year I don't predict it, and then it'll happen.
All right, we'll get to that. All right,
fine.
Keep us going.
All right. So next you predicted Funimation would put out Slim Pack Blu-ray movie sets. So you predicted pretty much the same thing as I did, and we were both wrong.
No dice.
Yep, shame really. Next, Japan needs to get on the digital front ASAP. Do something. Well, it appears Shueisha heard you.
Woohoo!
Go, Meri. You did something right.
I got something right. I can't believe it.
The iOS Jump bookstore did finally launch this year. They're kind of trailing behind what Viz has been spearheading, but they did it.
Wow.
And it does exist on Kindle too. We just haven't gotten around to it because we missed it when it first came out.
We'll talk about that. I got predictions here. I was really good.
All right. Anyway, then next you said Viz won't do anything other than pushing material to the app. So no Dragon Ball SD or anything like that. And that's it. That's right. That's accurate. And next, final prediction from Meri. No games released next year at all. At all. Well, when it comes to original material, I think you're probably right.
So here the rehash, as usual.
There were, reskins of reskins. That's it.
So you were wrong, but you were right.
Yeah.
If only you had said no new
I know.
games.
Next time I'm going to have to be more specific.
Yeah.
Yes. No except yes, basically.
Right. Yeah. All right, so that leaves me, Meri. What did I say? Come on.
You had a lot of predictions. So you said that you thought that Zenkai Battle Royale could get a home port, but you weren't fully committed to this idea.
Yeah, because it was the kind of thing where I saw that it was still getting updates. It's like, maybe they'll keep it going. That's exactly what's been happening this year. So next year's predictions, we'll get to this.
No, what was funny was when we were doing the yearly recap.
Yeah.
I felt like every other news piece was either about Zenkai Battle Royale or Dragon Ball Heroes.
Yeah.
I was like, you would think those are the two big stories of the year, but they're not.
Right?
All right, so you said a 3DS game is theoretically possible. If we get anything, it'll just be an announcement, but we won't see the game until 2013.
Boom. Thank you.
Shakalaka. Okay, you said absolutely nothing on the Vita for Dragon Ball in 2012.
Correct. We will see Project vs. J on the PS3 and Vita in 2013.
Yes. I'll give that a half, right?
Okay.
You said that we will see Ultimate Blast / Tenkaichi 2, and it'll include episode of Bardock stuff.
Well, not the right game. I mean, it was basically Ultimate Blast 2, just not called as much. And it included, I guess you could call it episode of Bardock stuff because episode of Bardock is episode of Bardock stuff.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So I would say I'm like 3/4 right there.
You said that this will be the last year for Dragon Ball video games in quite some time. Essentially, 2012 is 1997 all over again.
It felt like it was going that way with the re-releases, kind of winding things down.
Well, then we got announcements, so...
Yeah, we'll see where 2013 takes us, especially with a new movie.
Okay, here's a fun one. He said no new animation next year. We'll ride out episode of Bardock as much as they can. Well, you know what? Not so much.
I am invoking Julian here with the technically Battle of Gods is not out this year.
They announced it.
They did announce it.
I say that counts.
And the writing out episode of Bardock I was going with, I mean, they re-released the manga. They did the 2 extra pages. They included it in the video game. Again, I say I'm like half right on this one.
Mm-hmm. All right.
However,
episode of Bardock, you said, will not get a home release at all. It'll just be included in things like games.
Yeah, I think even there I was saying that it might not even be the special on the game. They would just use the story from it.
That's kind of weird, though, because it technically didn't get a true home release.
Well, all right, here's the thing.
As in the sense of, hey, we're going to just release this DVD.
I know, and I think if I go back to the show, I was saying it wouldn't even be in like a special magazine thing. It just wouldn't.
Like, you couldn't find it in DVD format.
Right, and of course, I think it was the very next week that they announced that it would come packed in Psycho Jump, so blew me out of the water there. So I'm going to say totally wrong on this.
That's when I realized, wow, 2012 was off to a rocking start.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird year.
All right, I had a lot more here.
Yeah.
Okay, this one. Totally wrong. Kai brand totally fading away.
It did.
Well,
no, it did not.
Yes, it did.
It depends on how you look at it. Because internationally, it's kind of around. Japan, it's completely gone.
Yeah, all the merchandise that was called Kai, they're re-releasing it and not calling it Kai anymore. That's more what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, international, the show is called Kai, but that's it. Like, using Kai to sell things is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, they've removed it from almost every piece of merchandise.
Except here.
Yeah, but what merchandise is there here? The show.
Yeah.
The show itself.
But we're getting more episodes and not in Japan.
Yep. Yeah. So,
but episodes, not merchandise.
Right. I say I'm right. All right, keep going.
Funimation is likely to keep things on the market. Kai will come to a close, but attention will be on the Blu-ray level sets, which will come at a steady pace.
Who could have predicted that? You know what? 6 months from announcement to cancellation. Who could have predicted that? I thought I was totally safe here. Like, okay, they've announced a new thing. That's just going to keep going. Why not? Those level sets. That was crazy, man. And
then you said Funimation won't do Blu-ray versions of the movie packs like they did with the DVD version.
Yeah, I had to contradict you so I could be right.
Okay, then you said nothing about Dragon Box the movies over here.
No, we got nothing. There was that survey about are you guys interested? But yeah, just they don't want to talk about Dragon Boxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you said that the Dragon Ball GT Complete set just came out in September 2010, so they're good on GT stuff for at least another year.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of re-releases on things, they've got so many repackagings of repackagings that it doesn't make sense to do any kind of other re-release.
And lastly, you said Viz will continue to just dish out volumes of the manga on the iOS app, but maybe move to Android stuff as well.
And they did. You can get the Viz Manga app on, I think they have separate versions for all the different things. Like they have a Nexus tablet specific version and just Android vanilla versions as well. So good job, Mike. Good job. Overall, how do you think we all did? Kind of half-half?
It was 50-50.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good as 50-50.
In certain things, like when we hit it hard, and then otherwise we were just totally off base. But we do have one more thing here. Heath, Jake sent us one prediction last year.
Which is the best prediction of all. The Earth will explode and everyone will die. Later, Funimation will put out another re-release of the series.
Wow, Jake's totally wrong here. I mean, it was great.
Here we all are.
On both counts.
Yes. We're all here, and a re-release kind of got canceled.
He tried, though. He tried.
All right, so what we're going to do now is turn our attention to making new predictions for the next upcoming year. So it's the same kind of thing where we've reflected on this year. We know certain things about what will happen next year. So we got to get this going. Julian, why don't we start with you? Kind of the standard format as we go around. What do you want to predict for 2013?
Well, I guess starting off, Battle of Gods will come. Battle of Gods will go. And depending on its success, we may see more theatrical films in the coming years, but I'm not that sure that it will get a huge groundswell of popularity. I think this will be a sort of wait and see kind of thing. Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, sure, why not? You can do whatever you want.
Okay. Next up, I'd say on the Kai front, we will get some sort of announcement in the US and in other international property licensing areas about the Boo arc. And maybe there will be some home releases announced for that as well.
So really, you're just saying what we already know. That's not a prediction.
Well, okay, fine. So, manga front, we will see more arcs re-released in full color of the manga besides the Saiyan and Frieza arcs.
Okay.
And depending on how successful they are, maybe eventually we'll get the entire manga series in such a format, rendering the animanga even more redundantly redundant. Now, I have another prediction. The Kanzenshuu series, they're being reduced down to 4 volumes, and according to my calculations...
to my calculations.
Okay, according to your calculations.
Collaborative effort.
So we got the story and
calculations.
We got the story and world guide. You get the 3 TV animations reduced down to 1 volume. Maybe you can work the movies in there, but I have a sneaking feeling that there may not be an illustration collection with this, which would be a big letdown, to be honest. But as much as I'd like it, I'm not sure if that's what they're going to do.
So what you're saying here, and we'll get to this again with my predictions, is that we're looking at a quasi re-release here, right?
Quasi re-release, but maybe without one of the most interesting visually parts. And I think it would be a shame, but I have a bad feeling that may be actually what happens. But we will see very soon, and I could be incredibly wrong, and I would be actually very happy to be wrong. So, yeah.
Okay.
And let's see. Last prediction. At some point, Kai will make its way back to Japan with the Boo arc, but it may not be on TV at all. It may just get some sort of straight to rental/home release with some sort of special promotion or something.
Okay, yeah, I want you to elaborate on that because Kai was coming out, and Heath, you're probably better to answer this. Was it 6 episodes a pop, or was it just...
Yes.
Okay, so it was kind of decent, right? Well, no, because the Blu-ray were sets only, and then the DVDs were single disc only.
Wait, hold on.
There's a site that answers all of this.
Yes, and I think it was 4.
Maybe it was only 4.
3.
Because I know the first volume that I bought was 3, and then the last volume was only 2, but that was weird. So, Julian, where I'm actually going with this is, if Kai is not on TV and is home release only...
3 episodes.
3 episodes a pop. Do you think they'll reduce the price in any way to give any kind of incentive? Like, give me a little more on this prediction. Where do you think it's going?
Are you kidding? This is Japan. They're not going to lower the price for anything.
All right.
But they may end up airing the series on perhaps a satellite channel,
Okay.
the same way that reruns get done that way.
Okay.
But my gut feeling is that it probably won't be done broadcast style, that it won't show up on Fuji TV.
All right. That's what you got.
That is my somewhat, I don't know if I'd call that unfair for some of those predictions, because they seem to be a bit going on what we know. Oh, another prediction. I will go to see Battle of Gods using my collaboration ticket. And I will
it's not
report.
a prediction. That is set in stone.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, Meri, we are moving over to you. Do you have any predictions? I noticed you don't have anything in front of you here.
I'd like to kind of go off the cuff.
Okay, all
I don't
right.
want to have to overthink these things. So I'm going to get the easy one out of the way.
Okay.
For the first time in 3 years, I'm going to say they're not going to release the Jump Super Anime Tour special here in the US, because I'm sick of getting let down year after year.
Yeah, okay.
This is so sad.
And now they're gonna do it.
I know. That's exactly.
That's why
That's it.
I think we're all going to say this.
Reverse psychology.
Exactly.
Okay,
They say,
what
no,
else?
you know what? I don't care anymore, so don't put it out. And
Well,
they'll put
I
it out,
mean,
be like, yay.
We do have the Japanese release, so
Yeah, I know,
it's not
but
that it affects us too much, but
no,
I feel
it's that
bad.
people here don't know it exists.
I know, I feel so bad. Okay.
Crazy. In terms of video game stuff,
Yeah.
seeing as how I got burned this year
Uh-huh.
with the release of the new movie, I say they're going to announce a new video game that specifically ties into the movie.
Okay.
They're gonna have the new characters. Maybe it'll have maybe like some kind of first person campaign, so to speak. Not a campaign, but like a story mode that specifically ties into the movie.
First person or just single player? I
I'm sorry, I meant single player.
was going to say, Meri.
It's a first person shooter with Dragon Ball. Gonna shoot key blasts at each other.
All right, what else you got?
Let's see. Well, I agree with Julian about the Kanzenshuu, so just
All right.
want to place in a.
You guys are all biting off me, and I'm going last, so it sounds like I'm ripping off you.
That's funny. Let's see. So, in terms of Kai, I'm going to say that the US gets anything about the continuation of Kai before Japan even does.
Okay.
And
What else you want to do? Come on.
let's see.
Come on.
I don't know. 2012 was such a busy year. Oh, for the movie,
Yes.
I'm going to say it'll see like moderate success.
Okay,
I don't
how do you
think-
define moderate success?
So over in Japan, that One Piece movie was pretty huge, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I'm going to say it's not going to come to the level of that One Piece movie that did really well over there. I'll say it's maybe half as successful as that, maybe because of the nostalgia factor.
Okay.
Maybe people going with their kids, but not huge in the terms of, oh my God, everyone's into One Piece over
Every single
there.
person, right. Okay.
So that's kind of like my scale
All right.
that I'm basing it on.
That's good.
And I think that's what I'll leave it at.
Okay, that's fine. You don't need to go overboard. You get Heath and I for that.
Exactly.
Heath, you are joining us for the first time as a regular podcast member.
Go nuts!
Yes. Go nuts. All right. So first up, I'm going to go with video games, and this is my only video game prediction.
Okay.
Zenkai Battle Royale is announced for home release in 2014 on the PS3. So we catch wind of it possibly at the end of 2013.
Oh, all right. All right.
So you say PS3?
So I'm going out there.
Yeah, I know you're saying PS3
Current
there.
console?
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm really going on a limb.
All right.
All right. Then the Majin Buu arc of Dragon Ball Kai begins popping up internationally on television. It's quickly followed by home video releases in these areas. The release in Japan is on a digital tier channel. Possible home video release, but with the poor sales that they had before, my hopes really aren't too high for that.
Gotcha. So no Fuji TV, just got to have cable.
Yeah, I think they're just going to try to recoup all the money they put into it through the international markets and leave it at that.
Okay.
Shueisha continues to release full-colored manga beyond the Frieza arc, possibly the full series. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do it because I hate when they do this, but to go back and release
Dragon Ball.
like chapters 1 through 194. Yeah, it's
Okay.
whatever. Viz picks up the full color re-release of the manga, but releases it in digital format only.
Oh, so
Oh,
over
wow.
in like the Shonen Jump Alpha kind of territory.
Yes.
Because then they'll have to pay for the cost of printing all that color.
Uh-huh.
The Kanzenshuu is essentially a carbon copy of the Daizenshuu, but
suck.
with additional information about Battle of Gods at the very end, giving fans a little bit more of a reason to buy them.
Okay, so they're going to pull in Daizenshuu 6 movies and TV specials and then add a little extra.
Battle of Gods debuts in some international theaters, but not in the U.S.
Oh, wow. We're getting screwed.
Yeah. Battle of Gods is announced for international release, but not until 2014. As far as like home video format.
Okay.
And even with the new movie's success, no additional movies are announced in 2013 to avoid oversaturation. And the next movie, assuming this one is successful, won't come out until 2015 or 2016.
All right, so you're saying that there will be more just years down the road.
Yes. Funimation actors are contracted to dub Battle of Gods, but Fox maintains full control. They do like the dialogue translation and everything. So Funimation is fairly hands-off, just recording.
Okay.
The JSAT special is finally announced for release in collaboration with Battle of Gods.
Really?
Wow.
I think this might be a good time for them to finally put it out because both things fall in the same time period of the series.
They do. People forget about that.
Yeah. I'm going to pull a Julian and just say Funimation releases a movie pack of some sort.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm really going off the Battle of Gods here, but
Gotcha.
Funimation readdresses the Blu-ray level sets, saying they still have no plans to continue. They kind of gloss over it and say, hey, look, we have the Kai Majin Buu art.
Gotcha.
And then lastly, I have Funimation doesn't do anything with the Dragon Boxes, but they focus on pimping Battle of Gods and the continuation of Dragon Ball Kai.
So the old, hey, look over there technique?
Yes. Hey, look over there. We had not have Dragon Boxes.
Heath, I want an opinion on something because you're saying that Fox is going to be responsible for stuff here, but you're saying Funimation is going to be pimping Battle of Gods. So is Fox
they're still gonna get commission.
You think Fox is theatrical only and they're going to dish it out to Funimation for home release?
I think Funimation will have much to do with distribution of the home video release.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
That's my feeling. Because I thought the same thing when I was writing it. And
like,
I figured somebody
this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. Why am I saying this? All right.
Yep. So that's what I have.
All right. That's all you got?
Yep.
All right. Mike territory here. I like to do more about video games because I know you guys don't even play them. I'm the one who's stuck playing these things here.
Stuck. Nice choice of phrase.
Yes. Because you hate it so much.
So we know that Dragon Ball Heroes Ultimate Mission is due out on the 3DS. Is it February? I think it is. I think that's February. Sounds right. I'm saying that an updated version of the game is going to be announced for early 2014 release.
That late, you think? 2014?
A year later. I mean, early 2014.
Okay.
Basically a year later. I think they're going to ride out the year and just like they did with this, at the end of the year, say, hey, basically Ultimate Mission Plus is going to be coming your way. They're not going to do DLC for the game. They're just going to reissue it with all the extra Galaxy Mission stuff that they've done since then. There's already 2 Galaxy missions we know of that aren't going to be in the game, so there's going to be plenty more. I think that's what they're going to do with that, and it's going to suck for those of you who buy it right away, like me, who can't even play it because of region locking. Fuck you, Nintendo. I say Project Versus J is going to come out without region locking, much to everyone's relief. It's going to be about the same quality as Battle Stadium DON, where like it's fun, it's playable, but just kind of is. I think that a Sparking HD collection will be announced / released for the current gen of systems, and that and Project Versus J is all you're going to see for the current gen systems. I think a new game will be announced for the next generation of systems, the 720 / PS4 / Orbis, whatever, for release in early 2014. And it's going to be one of those things where here's Goku and Vegeta, here's a new visual style. Look forward to
You're
it.
already killing my first prediction already.
Yes. As much as I would love it and it would make sense, I don't think we're going to see a home port of Zenkai Battle Royale. I don't know. I'm just getting this feel. I want it and I keep predicting it, but I feel like I think they're going to drop the ball on this one. They're not going to put it out.
I hope they don't. It's one game I actually really want to play.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's like we're finally interested in something I don't think it's on their radar.
So that's my video game stuff. Over in book territory, I'm going to contradict you folks. I think the colored manga does not go beyond the already announced Saiyan and Frieza arcs.
You know what? I would not be surprised if that happens.
I think they're going to put it out and people are going to be like, yep.
That was the thing.
That's a colored manga, and maybe they'll pick up a couple volumes out of curiosity, but...
Maybe they're just hoping to make a quick couple bucks off this.
Yeah. I didn't have this, but Heath, I love... Was it your idea about going over to Viz digitally?
Yes.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's an extra thing to put in.
In the same respect, Shueisha could honestly do that as well.
They could.
If they're not recouping, they say, well, we'll continue, but now it'll only be digital format.
Yeah. So, like you all said, because I said, the Kanzenshuu, if you start looking at the first title, the Story and World Guide, sounds familiar. Kanzenshuu 2, Story Guide. Kanzenshuu 4, World Guide. 4 volumes. Kanzenshuu were 7 plus 3, 10 volumes. Take out those 2 Cardass volumes. That's 8 volumes. Story plus World, that's 2 together in 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Kanzenshuu sounds a lot like a re-release of the Kanzenshuu. I have nothing more to add because you guys took it from me.
I guess on that front, if that's how they're doing it, how would they do anime stuff? Because that spans 4. Are you saying they'll split that up?
Does it span 4?
One will be like half TV anime, half movies?
Yeah, well, there's TV animation 1, 2, and then 3 was Kanzenshuu 10. Then there's movies and TV specials. And Julian was doing some of the math on page counts and stuff. I think they could slap all 3 of the TV animation together in one, cut out some extraneous stuff. Kanzenshuu 7's kind of huge all on its own. I think there's a way to arrange those 8 volumes down into 4.
So then the movies one would be the one... They would probably get the most new stuff.
If there's new stuff at all. I like your idea.
They could do episode of Bardock. They could. Think of all the other stuff they could throw in.
That's true.
But anyway, on with your predictions.
That's fine. I'm not sure where to go with the adding of extra stuff because I think that makes sense and it would be smart, but I don't trust them. So
it always comes down to trust.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be an anime for Battle of Gods that'll come out by the end of summer. Just seems kind of standard for that kind of movie property thing.
I want to suggest there may be a... Oh, sorry. Can I make a prediction now, too?
Yeah, please.
I want to predict there may be a novelization similar to how there is with the One Piece movies.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, they do.
Interesting.
Is it light novel style, or is it just...
I think there may be a few illustrations in there, but I never actually picked one up. But there's a prose version.
Gotcha. Very interesting. Okay, so... throw that in with Julian as well. Let's talk about Battle of Gods specifically. Meri, the more you were talking about this, you were right in there with me.
It's funny because I didn't even know your predictions.
I gave specific figures here. I think Battle of Gods is going to do well, but is not going to set Japan on fire. I think its opening weekend, I got figures for you here. I think it's going to do 500 billion yen its opening weekend, which is half that of what Strong World did a couple years ago.
So you're using the same benchmark.
Yeah. Because One Piece Film Z, I think, did better than Strong World, but I'm going to go back to Strong World. I think it's going to be half as popular as Strong World was. Be relieved to see it do better, but I think that's where we're going to be for all the reasons that everyone already said. I think the movie is going to tie in a bit of that super exciting guide material we all keep talking about, but it's not going to be as much as we are hoping for. I think, yes, we're going to hear Makayoshin, but that's about the extent we're going to get out of the information and the material there. And the movie's going to be a standard end with just Goku winning. Maybe it's that Genki Dama that we saw. That's it. Just kind of ends. But it's going to be fun. Then over in the Kai world, I think we're going to hear that Funimation is the primary co-producer on this. It seems to be going that way. And the last half statement I think they tossed out there was on Ancast maybe a month or so ago, and they had the 2 folks on there. I think there was a Twitter question about what can you tell us about Kai, and they were like, no comment, more to come later. I'm pretty sure the Funimation is kind of the one responsible for that happening, and that would make sense. I think we're going to see new English dub episodes on TV in spring and a home release later in the year. And like you were saying, Heath, international markets, of course, going to get it as well. Nice little extra income for Funimation if they are indeed a co-producer on that. I think that's a good realm.
Do you think they're going to get any income from that?
If they're helping fund its production, yeah.
I think they will.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it'll help them out quite a bit.
I think so.
Especially recoup some of the whatever losses they have for the levels.
Yep. Like you're saying, it's going to go to international audiences from there. And I think Japanese fans will continue to not care in the least. I don't want to say anything about the TV broadcast or the home release. I think you guys had some fun predictions there. I don't know that I could add. I don't know if I really want to like completely all in agree with anything. So I'll leave those to you guys. That's what I got. I think there's a lot of other stuff we could say. I feel like it's one of those cases where I want to have a prediction for something that hasn't already been announced or hinted at, but
that's so hard this year.
I know, there's so much stuff we already know about. I feel like their 2013 is so full. What else could they throw into the mix that we could predict?
I don't know. I mean, we could say, oh, they're going to announce a new movie, but they did.
Like, there's a new movie, there's new books already announced, that they've covered everything that we could out on a limb.
Right. Like, there's not even going to be like a new series, I think, if they're going to be.
Video games is really the only thing that we don't know.
Right. But we already know Ultimate Mission. We already know Project vs. J. Zenkai Battle Royale is still hanging out there. Like, there's so much that's already in existence that why say anything else?
And we know there's going to be a ton of stuff merchandise-wise.
Right. Like, what do you predict there? I mean, we were already saying a lot of it's going to be like this Capsule R figure line is just re-releases of stuff, and they're going to have a lot of that. So what we're going to do now is turn it over to the audience. Asked you guys, I think it was last night, what do you guys have for predictions? If you can make one prediction. Twitter explodes, Facebook explodes. You guys and you gals, you have a lot to say. I think we have a lot of fun predictions. People making jokes, of course, and I love those, but also people making some far out there stuff. So I'm very excited about this.
So that's where we can get our far out
there
stuff.
We can get the crazy.
We're not creative enough.
The audience, they are the crazy. They bring the crazy. Let's start with Twitter. We'll go through a bunch of these and then we'll move over to Facebook. I guess we'll go reverse chronological here, at least the way that Twitter works. Meri, start us at the bottom here with John Edvard.
All right, he writes, this is more of a dream that will never happen, but he wants a Norwegian dub of Battle of Gods.
Yeah, that's not a prediction. That is a dream.
Yes.
You can keep on dreaming there. All right, Caleb says Dragon Ball Dragon Boxes, possibly Dragon Box the movies. I don't think it's going to happen that way.
Then we have Colton. Viz will find a way to not release the manga in color, but instead release it in cheap formats.
Yes, and we do know, I'm just waiting on a little verification on something, but it sounds like new 3-in-1s are coming from Viz, and it is likely the cheaper paper omnibus edition, not Viz Big. So I think you're already half right there, Colton.
T. Reed sends in, hopefully Funimation will either get the continuation of Kai or the 2008 Super Anime Tour special.
A lot of hopes, a lot of dreams.
Yes. Like how people say hopefully.
Yes.
We have Jose Galvin said, a new series that ignores GT.
See, there we go. There's someone bringing the crazy for us. A new series next year?
So next up we have Cameron Bell, who writes, I guess the year won't be as good as people expect it to be. That's kind of
I don't know. Is it the year? Is it Battle of Gods? Yeah. So something.
I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is. So it could apply.
It'd be kind of hard to have a huge letdown.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Adam Bishop writes, translated Daizenshu. Ooh, that would be interesting, but a bit maybe negated by the Chozenshu. Or Dragon Boxes in Blu-ray. Or Dragon Box the movies with all of the movies. That would be interesting.
Wish list here.
If Viz were to translate anything, they would do the Chozenshu, which I assume would be so easy for Shueisha to send because it'd be entirely digital format.
Yeah. The way the stuff is produced now, that would be the way to go.
Yeah.
And then you could just add complete illustrations to it, probably. And all right, let's keep going here. Zach says Dragon Ball Heroes gets a U.S. release. Really? How? And Battle of Gods gets an English dub. I think that one's a little more likely. Bacon writes Spirit Bomb, and there might be canon errors. I assume that Bacon here is talking about Battle of Gods, and I continue to think that people don't actually know what the word canon means, but we'll move on. Meri, we've got a couple from Alex here.
All right, writes there'll be a Wii U game, or Raditz gets a What If Super Saiyajin transformation.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Both of those are just as likely. I think it's fine. Heroes is like, who do we got? Raditz,
How
fine.
are you going to tell Raditz apart from Super Saiyan 3?
His hair will like
Is it like,
wrap around
he has eyebrows? Oh my god, he doesn't have eyebrows.
Raditz is just going to be Cousin It. Just gold.
Yeah.
It's just hair all over the place, like a werewolf.
All right, let's finish up Twitter real quick. David says, is going to empty my bank account. I think that's 2013 as a whole.
I think that
agree.
goes for everyone
my
collectively.
God. All right, let's turn it over to Facebook here. We have a ton of responses on Facebook, lots of good stuff. So, Meri, since we already have it up in front of us, let's have you start off here.
Okay, Casey writes, it'll continue to make me happy on the inside. Oh, that's sweet.
Dragon Ball or 2013? Something,
yeah.
something. Casey will be happy.
And then Tuck predicts no English dub of Battle of Gods.
Ooh, okay.
Michael writes, lots and lots of merchandise will contribute. I guess he means continue to be released, with many of it being reissues. And Garrett writes, or alternatively, it's sub only in a new game as a tie-in.
You know, I think that
would be long though.
That would be safe were it not the length it is and not the caliber of a release it is. But
I think they'd solely be missing out if they put it with.
It's too big for something like that. Let me read a couple here. Wesley is over in Korea right now. Wesley writes, Dragon Ball Online will probably have big events coming, especially if the new movie is released here. I see plenty of merchandise in nerdy stores here in Korea, so it is still popular, and Dragon Ball Online will probably capitalize on that. I love getting that international perspective. Thank you, Wesley. Keep us apprised of what the hell's going on with Dragon Ball Online. Kevin writes, just some wishful thinking, but Zenkai Battle Royale finally gets ported to home. Yeah.
Yes, Kevin, I like it.
We'll see. Last one I'm going to read here. Daniel writes, Dragon Boxes for fuck's sake, Funimation.
Nice.
All right, someone else take a few here.
Damian Alexander writes, new Dragon Ball miniseries will be announced. So maybe like a short OVA sort of style thing. That would be interesting.
Or maybe something like the Psycho Jump Rock Lee that got turned into a series. You think Dragon Ball SD could get some short episodes, maybe?
Yeah, maybe if they work on actually being funny.
Yeah, right.
Like a 5-minute web series that, maybe made it funny would be kind of interesting.
For jerks. Maybe it could be funny. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Have you tried sucking less, Dragon Ball SD?
We're sorry, Oishi, we didn't mean it.
All right, keep going, man.
Yes, we did. Okay, so Elisha writes, a new Dragon Ball game.
That's fair. That's probably happening.
Okay, and Steve Fry writes, Jump Special will get an English dub. Cross his fingers.
More wishful thinking. Okay.
All right, then we have Ryan, who says, Battle of Gods will do well, and we will get a new DBZ game sometime during the winter. Chris said, Dragon Ball Kai will be re-continued. Well, yeah. Isn't that already in the works?
We know that one. Come on, folks. Predictions, not just statements of fact.
All right. I'm going to butcher this name. Joe Fintonio. Yeah, that sounds good. Dragon Ball Kai will have the Kanzenshuu ending. New game, maybe along with Sparking HD. Zenkai Battle Royale port, or a European release of Ultimate Butoden. Damn it already.
Yeah, I think that one missed
Dragon Ball GT or movies Dragon Box. Battle of Gods goes international sooner than we expect.
Yeah, international,
pleasant
folks.
Surprise.
They're like, gimme, gimme, gimme. I'm with you, though, guys.
And then we have Ryan Corey, who says, I'll be daring. Battle of Gods will have a same-day home release in both America and Japan.
That's what I'm looking for. Come on, folks.
Crazy stuff.
Bring me this shit. This is what I want to hear. Be daring. Be out there. Be on the limb. All right, let me read a few here. Gary, toward the end of the year, after the movie buzz has slowed down, an announcement of Dragon Ball Z on Blu-ray in Japan. And a UK-focused prediction following up on the Kicks airing in Funimation dub. Distributor Manga UK will start releasing Kai immediately after they finish the Orange Bricks, mirroring Funimation's constant re-releases of Z. I implore you, go back and listen to the interview we had with Jerome from Manga UK. We had a lot of great information on there about what Toei wanted them to do, what materials were available to them. I think it puts a lot of stuff in perspective. Joey says, Battle of Gods will be Funimation's widest released movie in the US. I'm talking Fathom events wide. I guess just to put this in perspective for maybe international folks, Fathom events, it's one of those things where movie theaters play like a live event simultaneously around theaters or distribute things to theaters that otherwise wouldn't be shown in theaters. Very, very interesting. That would be neat. Joey also says, and we'll get a Blu-ray with multiple dubs by the fall. I wonder if he means like Spanish dub alongside it, something like that.
I would take that.
That would be cool. I'll read one more and then we'll keep passing along. Gary writes, oh, a random guess. The English dub for Battle of Gods will not be Funimation, but will be a dub produced by 20th Century Fox.
That would be wild.
Interesting.
That would
be weird.
I'll take a new cast. What do I care?
Oh, like that. There was a debacle a few years ago. I can't remember. I think it was the.
It's called Dragon Ball Evolution.
That was one of them, yeah. But there was. Oh, what was it? I think it was maybe the Japanese dub of the Simpsons movie.
Oh, different cast?
Where they completely replaced the cast. The TV cast was not used. They used just a bunch of celebrities.
Oh.
Meri, why don't you take a few here?
All right, Darren says that due to the Budokai HD collection, this year's game will be developed by Dimps, or we will see an HD collection of the Sparking games, only including the second and third games in the series.
I like that, and that makes sense, because the first Sparking is garbage. People like the second Sparking, Neo, for its more comprehensive story mode, and then Meteor, of course, for the 150 characters.
Yes.
So, can I append my prediction for Sparking HD? I think that's what it would be.
No.
No, ass. All right, keep going.
All right, Philip predicts that there will be no video games that rate higher than an average of 7 by reviewers released. That's pretty generous.
That's
7.
generous and likely.
More like 5.
Yeah, right.
Sean says, can we finally get the rest of the Dragon boxes? Please, funny, please. James writes, Tarble is mentioned or has a small cameo in the Battle of Gods movie.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Hey, why not?
Michael writes, we will get info on Dragon Ball's upcoming 30th anniversary.
Interesting. December 1984 to December
I am
2014.
looking forward to that.
That'll be... God, if they pull out all the stops, 2014 is going to be the year.
I know, right? All right, Heath, why don't you read a few?
John says, was gonna say Battle of Gods getting licensed, but I'll go with another one and say Kai Buu Arc Blu-rays and DVDs announced by Shueisha and later announced for the US by Funimation.
I don't really get Shueisha's involvement there. Probably just meant Toei, but
I don't either. All Japanese companies are the
they
same.
are exactly the same.
And then Stacy said Battle of Gods will be seen stateside not too long after its Japanese premiere. I'll say within 6 months. Possible venues could be conventions, art house theaters, film festivals, etc. Also, Funimation will be on top of this shit and get a DVD released by the holiday season. Maybe they'll even throw us a bone and put the JSAT special on the same DVD as an extra.
Wait, you have to read how she closes this.
JSAT release prediction 5 years running. Lol. There you go, Meri. See, you are not the only one in this.
Oh,
boat.
I know.
Stacey, you're tight on this.
Yes.
And then Frank said, Dragon Ball game that isn't a reskin of a reskin.
I don't know.
Is that even possible?
Dragon Ball Heroes is just the old Budokai engine with new stuff. So we'll see where things go.
And then the last one I'll read is Jim, who says a worldwide release of Dragon Ball Online.
I don't know, man. You listen to where the video game industry is heading and what's going on with MMOs right now and the trends of MMOs, things like Guild Wars 2 and Terra, something quasi more traditional like Dragon Ball Online. I don't play MMOs, but I don't know that a game like this has a place in the gaming world anymore.
I'm not sure what you mean. So what is the trend?
Moving towards more action-based MMOs, things like League of Legends.
Wait, a Dragon Ball game is not action-oriented?
It's not. It's more WoWish with, clicking and cooldowns and all that. I mean, I'm just speaking terms that I hear because I've never played an MMO, so I'm pretending I know what I'm talking about. But I think I'm the most versed of MMOs here on the cast right now. So there we go.
To say the least.
Julian, why don't you, I guess, close us up here. We'll get a few more.
Okay, so Harry Lubis, we'll just say Harry writes, Oolong will wish for girl panties once again.
All right. Is that going to be the wish in Battle of Gods?
When the world's actually in danger and we need to revive some characters or restore someone to full power, he's just going to wish for something completely insignificant.
I'm down.
So, and Dylan writes to us, there will be an international release for Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods due to 20th Century Fox involvement, but there will be delays as no English language preview has been revealed yet. I'm predicting it will be out in the latter half of 2013.
Okay.
Okay.
That's pretty safe. I don't think it's too far off.
Fair enough. And this one should sound familiar. Steven writes, there will be a rushed, uninspired home console game with a character never before playable in it. They'll say it's a brand new experience, but it'll end up being a reskin version of a past game.
I love how much our audience knows us in this series so well.
It's like this has never happened before.
I love you guys. You're so good.
Love you guys.
Anyway, where are we? Tyler writes, at the end of the year, we will get another small bit of unofficial news about the ocean dub of Dragon Ball Kai.
You think it's going to take another year before we hear anything else about this weird thing?
Come on, guys! I heard it from a little bird. It's gonna be awesome. There's casting rumors and everything, and they're recording right now. And it's been years.
All right.
I have a feeling it's just sitting in like a can, like
I
a
know.
film canister. Like nobody uses those anymore, but that's where it is.
But it's
just
in there.
a
It's digital.
It's like they mailed it to somebody and it's just sitting on their front stoop.
Yep.
Nobody went to check.
Okay. But yeah. So anyway, Adam writes, the Jump Super Anime Tour 2008 special will continue to not get an official release from Funimation.
We're all turning on this thing.
I
We're
know.
like, you know what? I'm done.
Yes. Well, we've predicted that it would come out for so many years. Eventually, you just have to say, well, maybe it won't. Okay, and Lino, I'm not sure how to read that, writes, a good DBZ game with great character creation.
I believe it's out and it's called Dragon Quest IX. So you can go ahead and pick it up for $15 on Amazon right now.
Oh, great. Wait.
Nice plug.
Yes. And finally, Christian writes, would love a release of the movie in Germany, at least on DVD with the cool old dub. But that would be a miracle. Yeah, Dragon Ball Kai to air in Germany would be nice too. It will definitely air in the US. Or the Buu Saga, that is.
All right, so we got our international folks making their international predictions for us over here. Wow, you guys came through. Some of you, I think, need to read up on what prediction means as opposed to stating fact that is happening next month. But some of you are also awesome. You're like, you know what? I'm insane. Here's what I think. Go
I'm
with it.
proud of it.
Yes, and you're proud of it, and I'm proud of you. So I appreciate all of that stuff. You guys came through in spades. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. 2013 is going to be a hell of a year. I am very excited for it.
Super excited.
Thank you. I am super
Fantastic.
excited for it. Oh, man, we got to wrap it up because it is 12:37 a.m. for Julian over in Japan. You're taking
Yes.
off, not tomorrow, today at this point, but you still got little kids. So
Yes,
we got to
that's true.
thank you for joining us, man.
It's my pleasure. I am Extreme Battle Collect. No, wait. I am. I am super excited to be here too. It's
The
going to
joke
be
just doesn't work.
okay.
It's even better that you went with a guy that nobody cares about.
We never
I
even
know,
covered it on
right?
the podcast. We kept planning it, and I've got the extra two that I bought, and they're just sitting in a stack underneath a light switch up in the loft.
I think I bought them. I flipped through them to see if there was anything new, and they got stuck up on my shelf.
Yep.
There's a
Never
Toriyama
seen
Q&A that Herm's already translated.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Which needs
To
to
the
go up on
max.
the site at some
Yes,
point.
it does. I was going to plan on transcribing the Japanese just to make sure everything matches up at some point. But, that's not something the podcast people have any interest in. Anyway,
I think it is. I think they love hearing about what content we have coming.
yes, we have super
A
secret
lot
areas of
of
the
it.
site where we can see each other's stuff that we're putting up, which is mostly a bunch of posts by me with me replying to my own posts.
Yes.
But so yeah, I'm going to also predict unofficially that I'm going to continue to tear it up. this
Wow.
year.
Nice. That's a
Wow.
bold statement from Mr.
Julian pulling it out.
Tear it up.
He's talking like a thug over here, too. I love it.
Thug appeal.
Well, then I will also continue to thug it up.
And I will continue to look like the lazy one by comparison.
Good time.
Oh.
I'm working on stuff. I'm the coordinator. And I got to tell you,
You are?
shut up.
What do you coordinate besides the podcast?
A lot of stuff. I'm working on a project plan for something. So step
Oh,
off.
okay.
Project plan.
Yes.
Right.
How many projects do we have
A
going?
lot of
I think you need Microsoft Project for
I think so.
for your website.
Yes.
God, I can think of 5 off the top of my head, and they're all major projects.
No, me too. I actually am working on a couple things.
As the impartial
I'm working on
person in
several
this
as
outfit,
well.
I think I should be your project manager.
Do you want the job?
No, I really don't.
All right then.
You're hired.
All right.
And simultaneously, you're fired.
Damn it.
All right. That's enough about that stuff. Julian, thank you.
My pleasure, as always.
All right. Heath, it was great to have you as a formal member of the site now, which I have to say is technically 15 years old now.
I know. Isn't that nice how that works?
You jumped on board together with us all, and you gained a whole bunch of extra years onto your
my
portfolio.
resume was expanded.
Very nice. Very nice.
Instantaneously.
It was good to have you with formal predictions, though. I like that.
Yes, it was very good to be on this year for this, and hopefully the world will not end next December, so we can make more predictions.
Yeah, and you get
all look like fools.
You get to be with the rest of us, where you're going, why did I say that? And then there's Meri over here.
That's right. I kind of wish I had more out there predictions, but
it's okay. It's okay. We appreciate it nonetheless.
And I like the recaps because then I get to learn about like what I missed this year.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm so out of the loop.
A lot of people said the same thing, where it's, I forget what happened in the first half of the year.
Yes.
You know what we didn't do?
Uh-oh.
We didn't talk about the top 5 stories of the year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Go to the website. There's a website.
We have a
too?
website.
There's a post about
There
that.
is. The show's gone on long enough as it is, so just go read
I
that.
think y'all can probably guess what the biggest stories of the year were.
Yeah. And you've already read it.
Yeah, they all came in December, essentially.
All but one of them. One of them was July.
Yep.
And then the other 4.
Oh, that's right.
The other 4 were, I think, November, December. So that's great. Okay, Meri, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job keeping us on track here. Appreciate it.
Try.
All right. So for all of them, and for Jake, who could not join us but did send us cookies, except for Julian, because you're in Japan.
You can still send me
Julian.
cookies.
International cookies.
I've been enjoying them.
It was an ongoing gag between Jake and I.
Yeah.
Really?
Because he will always tell me when he's baking cookies, and then he says he'll email me some, and he never does. And then this year he's finally like, fine, I'm going to send you some goddamn cookies. I was like, thank you.
And I got in on it this time.
We should have
Yep.
a cookie party through the mail
We
next
should.
year.
That would be awesome.
Let's do that next year.
All right, it's planned.
All right, we predicted it. And then we're going to get to January, be like, fuck, we never did it. We never sent cookies. All right. For all of you folks, my name is Mike, VegettoEX. You can visit us online, www.kanzenshuu.com. That is Kanzenshuu. Kanzenshuu is the name of a website. It is not the name of the manga. It is not the name of a series of guidebooks. It is impossible for you to have scans of the Kanzenshuu. Just want to toss it out there of what this is.
It's a made-up word, folks.
We made it. It's a combination of Daizenshu and Kanzentai. It's a fusion word that we made. Just tossing it out there because people don't seem to understand. Kanzenshuu.com. This was our 2013 kickoff, or look back at the prior year, or look ahead at the upcoming year. We are at you next week with episode 321. January, very much hoping to have our buddy Jeff come on, do GT Review of Awesomeness number 4. He is definitely ready and willing to do so. So it's not a matter of he's fallen off the face of the planet. So I don't want to say it's going to be next week, because I think next week's kind of busy. And I also want to give you at least a week's heads up to watch the episodes. So stay tuned. We'll let you know about that. I think we're doing the next 4 episodes next time we get to it. So stay tuned. We'll hear more about that. That's it. Julian, why don't you wrap it up? This was 2012 into 2013, episode 320. See you next week.
Yes, thank you for listening to this edition of Kanzenshuu, the podcast. It's a new year. It's the first full year of the new website. And there's plenty more where that came from, so stay tuned.
He's going to tear it up.
Yes.
Massive tear up.
She's gonna get stitches.
Thank you, Meri. You just made my morning.
All right. Stopping and saving.
Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball, I'll get it. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball, I'll get it.
All right, I'm coming back. All right, who's with me? Hello.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. Nice to see you here.
Hi, I was singing a song.
Oh, excellent.